All right, hello everyone, and welcome to our virtual admissions encounter current student panel edition. So we have had some faculty panels in the past, but now we have a current student panel. So we're very lucky to have some great students with us today. We have a bunch of, we have students from various years of study, and they'll introduce themselves. So why don't we just get started with things? So before I begin with the panel, let me first introduce myself. My name is Elizabeth Jordan. I'm the recruitment officer, as well as the Associate Dean of Students at Our Lady Seat of Wisdom College in Barry's Bay, Ontario. And part of my role is to just help students in their decision-making process in terms of coming to the Seat of Wisdom, or just discerning a post-secondary education in general. So if you have any questions about our process, our admissions process, or what life is like, again, we'll get more into that as we go along here, but any questions about that, you're welcome to reach out to me. My email is ejordan@seatofwisdom.ca. I just wanted to tell you about a couple of things that are coming up. Well, one thing that's coming up for right away on March 19th, so that's a little less than a month away, is our regular admissions deadline. So that's March 19th, the Solemnity of St. Joseph. That's our regular admissions deadline. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking about applying to Seat of Wisdom, now is the time to start your application. So you can definitely just reach out to us. If you have any questions, we can help you through the process. So just so that date is on your radar, March 19th. That's that. And then if you're also looking for a virtual tour at all, I know, in this time of COVID-19, it's hard to travel and to see places in person. But if you're looking for a virtual tour of campus, if you've never been here, or if you just want to see it again, you're welcome again to reach out to me. I give virtual tours quite often, actually, and I'd be really happy to just take you around campus on Zoom. So that is a possibility, if you were wondering. All right, and then just stay tuned. We'll be having more of these admissions events and panels and just live events, stuff like that in the future. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so let's begin this panel. So I want to just begin by introducing everyone. Well, I'll have everyone introduce themselves. So for your introduction, each of you, I'll say your name so you can know when it's your turn to go. But I'd like you to, I guess, say your name, say your year of study, your hometown, your concentration, if you've chosen a concentration, or your favorite area of study. And then also, I'd like you to tell us what you had for breakfast. So let's begin with Noah Landry.
All right, so my name's Noah. I'm third year at Our Lady Seat of Wisdom. I'm from Cobble Hill, British Columbia. I didn't choose a concentration, but I would probably have done literature if I had considered it in first year. And I made pancakes this morning.
Great, okay. Nikki, let's hear from you.
Hey, so I'm Nicola. I'm in my second year at ULSWA, and I actually live in Barry's Bay. I also am not doing a concentration, but philosophy would probably be my favorite subject. And then I had avocado toast for breakfast.
Wonderful. Hey, Geneva.
Hello, I'm Geneva Ulmer, and I am from Wilmington, Ohio, so I am one of the American students, and I am concentrating in theology. I might also do a double with philosophy or classics. I could go either one. I like both, and I love literature as well. And then what I had for breakfast this morning, I had granola and apples.
Delicious. Okay. All right, Kevin.
Hello, my name's Kevin Holmquist. I'm in first year, and I'm from Peterborough, Ontario. I'm not too far away, 2 hours. I haven't decided whether I'm going to major in anything, but my favorite subject would probably be Christian doctrine. Meenan's pretty good at making it interesting. For breakfast this morning, I do this thing where I like make oatmeal and put chocolate chips in it, and it's like eating a giant cookie. It's pretty good.
Nice. Look at that creativity. All right, Elizabeth.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Weston. I'm from Grand Cayman, the Cayman Islands. I'm going to be hopefully concentrating in philosophy, although I love literature. And I had a green smoothie and a muffin for breakfast.
And healthy. I like it. I like it. All right, and last but not least, we have Paul.
Hey everyone, I'm Paul. I'm in my second year. I'm from Kitchener, Ontario. I haven't decided on a concentration yet, but I'm leaning towards the classics concentration. And I feel really lame because everyone's got these great breakfasts, and I just had peanut butter and apples. So, I feel super lame.
Dude, that's not lame. That's not lame. That's healthy. That's protein. That's, a fruit. There you go. All the basic food groups, right? Exactly. All right, great. So now that our viewers have an idea of who we're working with here, the variety of people, of hometowns from the States, from not even North America. So, we're pretty diverse here. Okay. So now I just want to go around again, and I want to do a double question here. So we'll go through the same order. How about that? And if you could just touch on, each of you could just touch on what drew you to attend Seat of Wisdom College, and then also share a funny class moment. So I'll start with Noah again.
Okay, so what drew me is I've had 4 siblings come here, and they've all made lasting friendships with people and just really built their faith up. So that's the first question. Secondly, I like to crack jokes in class. So in first year, I tried a pun on Dr. Shaw, the history teacher, and he liked it, which it was a risk. So that was kind of my the peak of my OSWA history.
That's great. I gotta love the puns. Oh yeah. Awesome. Okay, Nicola.
So I decided to come to OSWA because one, it's like in my hometown, and I really wanted to strengthen my faith before I went to any other university. So that was the main reason that I came. And then a funny class moment. So one time I was in philosophy with Dr. Oliver, and he was recording the class. And then he left for break, and everyone was just kind of making jokes and stuff. And Joshua Filippetto had some really good jokes. Anyway, and then we didn't realize that it was being recorded. So yeah, he watched the whole thing afterwards. So it was pretty funny.
Nice. All right, Geneva. Why did you choose to come here?
Why did I choose to come here? High school really, I don't know. I came out of high school really knowing that I wanted to go to a Catholic school. I was really hungry for just the truth. And I knew that that kind of thing I wouldn't get anywhere other than at a Catholic school. And so I was looking at a couple of different options in the States and stuff. But my sister did come to Our Lady Seat of Wisdom, and I knew that it was authentically Catholic. And I was like, why would I go why would I go anywhere else? I know it has the truth. Why would I risk somewhere else? So that's why I came. Never regretted it. And then a funny class moment. Oh my goodness. I guess Noah would have been there. It was in Christian doctrine, and one of the students had made up this heresy based the heresy of Aiden. So okay, they raised their hand and they were like, Professor Meenan, what about the heresy of Aidenism? And he was like, what's Aidenism? They just made it up. And they were like, it's the heresy that says Jesus says up dog. And Mr. Eden goes, what's up dog? And the whole class just loses it. We've been trying so hard to get one of the professors to say what's up dog, and it was such a smashing success. Never to be forgotten. It was beautiful.
That's great. I remember when people told me about that was funny. All right, Kevin, why did you choose to come here?
Probably similar to Noah, the friends, definitely my sisters, both my two older sisters came here, and they've, I don't know, the friends from other schools or high schools always seem to go away, but my sisters are still really good friends with a lot of girls that they went to Ulsa with, and they're now like roommates with them or housemates in other places. So probably that. Funny class moment. That the first semester flew by. I'm sure there was a lot, but I don't remember many. Honestly,
okay.
we all laugh about the pancake waffle topic with Meenan. That's always a reoccurring theme.
Can you expand on that and tell our listeners what that is?
Oh yeah. So Professor Christian Doctrine has this like dilemma. Doesn't know if when you're holding hands with someone, whether you should interlock fingers or not. Pancaking is when you don't. Waffling is when you do. So we always try bringing that up, get him to talk on it more. But he's like, yeah, he thinks waffling's a no. So, yep, it's up to you. your conscience and your irascible passions, or whatever he says.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Yeah, that's always fun. It's funny. That's great. Okay, Elizabeth, what drew you to Seed Wisdom?
My two oldest brothers attended, met their wives who happen to be sisters, and all four of them really encouraged me to look into it. They thought that I would love it, and thankfully they were right. The first week I was like, yeah, I'll be here for 3 years. And a funny class moment to have to be in my first year, we had some really talented artists in our class who would sketch on the board before Christian Doctrine or West Civ and Latin. And one time they sketched one of the Marvel superheroes that looked exactly like Dr. Hines, who's our Latin teacher. And he thought it was the funniest thing. He took a picture of it and he told us later that he showed it to his kids. So it was quite good.
Nice. Wow. That's great. No, yeah, I'm sensing a theme here. Older siblings coming. I knew that was a thing before about just lots of people coming because their older siblings come. But it's always interesting because people stay for different reasons too. And definitely, Kevin, you mentioned the friends and just all the people in the community that you make here just sticks with you for your entire life. So that's wonderful. And last but not least, we have Paul.
Hey, so carrying on this theme, my older sister came to see Wisdom, and so when she was up in her first year, I came for come and see weekend, and so that was Thursday through Sunday, I think, and then by the end of the Sunday on the drive home, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm doing after high school, and so I came here, and in my second year, gonna finish off 3 years, so woo, loving it. A funny class moment. Well, one of the new classes this year is actually a Tolkien class. And because the first part of the semester was on Zoom, there are 3 guys in my house, so myself and 2 of my housemates that are taking the Tolkien class. So because it's on Zoom, you can change your name. So for the first 2 weeks, I think we scoured almost every piece of Tolkien literature to find the most obscure names that we could from Tolkien's history, and that's what we would name ourselves. And we'd see if anyone in the class could actually guess them. And the professor got it sometimes, but sometimes he didn't. So that was a lot of fun.
Good for you. Wow. Searching so deep. Here's a fun fact, because Paul mentioned it, but Paul's older sister is actually in the room right now. I'm his older sister. So, all right. So no, this is great. lots of funny moments here. Okay, I'm gonna go through a couple questions, and just for our viewers here, I have a few questions that I want to ask everyone, but a few questions that I also just want to throw out there, and whoever, whichever of these students wants to answer or supplement each other's answers on, they're welcome to do that. So let us go with, what is your favorite thing about living in residence? So anyone can answer this first, anyone can jump in, and you can just kind of piggyback off each other if you want. So favorite thing about living in residence? Who would like to jump in here? All right, Noah, go right ahead.
So in my second year last year, I was in a house with Paul actually, and together, the guys in the house, we formed kind of I would actually describe it as a brotherhood. It was just so awesome, and we were all friends, and we grew a lot together. So I just really like that aspect of it.
Wonderful. Yeah, definitely the community life here. Anyone else? Favorite thing about residence? Diva, go right ahead.
Just like the first thing that comes to mind is just like laughing. Just when you're with someone, when you're with people so much and you're there in the late nights, like the study nights, and you're just able to share so much. But yeah, both the joys and the sorrows, and just the laughter and the community is just so beautiful. The dance parties and the bananagrams and bringing tea and just like the best kind of friendships. It's just pretty phenomenal. So
Definitely, absolutely, yeah. And I should mention too that during this time of where we're in this COVID time, just in case anyone is not sure what we're doing for our households, we still have people live in residence, and our residences consist of, well, they're made up of about 8 to 10 people, something like that, and they're household type homes, so like family style homes in the town of Barry's Bay. And so what we're doing is the people who are in the same residence are considered a household, and so they get to bond with each other in a very close way, especially this year. So yeah, it's great just to see what everyone's doing together and all the activities that are taking place. Anyone else? Last minute things, favorite things with residents? Okay, well, that's okay. You can come back to that if you'd like. Okay. I want to touch on just speaking. I don't want to take all the time speaking about how we're dealing with things during COVID, but I do want to just highlight this because it is a reality right now, and it might still be a reality in the fall. So I just want to see what your answers are on this question. So what is one challenge that COVID-19 has caused for you in this in your time at the college, either last year or this year, and how have you dealt with it? So yes, Elizabeth, go ahead.
I'd have to say online classes have definitely been a challenge. You're on a computer to study and to do classes. It was kind of a lot, and the house definitely suffered from that, just not having interaction with other people outside of the house. So that was kind of hard, but I'd have to say the way that we kind of worked through it was a lot of us are in the same classes, so we do class together, and that way we'd like sit at the table and we could discuss things that were said in class or like crack jokes, and it definitely kept people spirits up and definitely helped us bond, which is nice. We also went on a lot of walks, a lot of rosary walks. It was good though.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, I can definitely sense the hardship there, but just having those people that you can actually, like, you're working towards a common goal with, you're on the same page, you want each other to succeed. Yeah, it's such a blessing that we can actually have everyone here on campus, so, or in their residences during the lockdown especially, so that's great. But yes, Geneva.
And I guess I can speak to that too. I've definitely grown an appreciation for the beauty of community life. Because I wasn't actually able to come to the school this last semester because of COVID and being from the States and all the complications there. So, and that was a huge challenge for sure, but it's just been amazing to see how like the whole experience and like being away from everybody, it just like helps you to grow an appreciation and to see it all with new eyes and just like, you know, being even more invested. And it really like, it was amazing too, like what everyone's been saying about the close friendships that are formed, like 10 months, like from the time we were sent home, you know, to COVID from, you know, because of COVID to the time when I was able to come back. But like the friendships stayed strong. And that is just such a testament to like the goodness of the people at the school and to, yeah, it's just been really amazing. And coming back, just like the joy of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I should also mention too that if anyone's watching who is American or from another country that's not Canada, and you're a bit worried about if it's possible to actually come, don't worry. We have been very successful with everyone who wants to come from the States. We do provide quarantine facilities or a quarantine plan for you. We provide your food for you if you come to study with us, and for the 2 weeks, of course, 2-week quarantine. It is possible for you to still come across the border. You're considered essential under the regulations. So yeah, we're very happy to have American students here. All right, anyone else want to say a challenge you've experienced from COVID and how you dealt with it? Yes, Paul.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest is just losing, a sense of wider community. You're not going over to people's houses, and even during the lockdown, just walking through the halls. You don't pass everyone through the halls. You don't say, hey, how's it going, and catch up and whatever. But I think as a result, our house has gotten really, really close. So there's 6 other guys in my house. And so normally, like Friday night, there might be hockey or something like that, but there wasn't. So as a house, we over dinner, we decided that we'd sit down and watch The Incredibles. So that was a great way to spend Friday night. So, yeah.
There you go. Just always being creative, eh? Looking for that extra little source of fun, for sure. That's great. Okay, anyone else? Last minute things about COVID? You want to share with your first years or fellow prospects? Not fellow prospects. You're not prospects anymore.
I would say one thing that was tough was like with online classes, as Liz was saying, like the motivation kind of like plummeted for me. So a really good thing is just like studying with the other people in your house who have the same classes. And then like I found just like acting like it's a school day, like get out of bed, like out of my pajamas and eat breakfast, and like have a workspace that you don't really use for other things. So that kind of helped with the motivation aspect of things.
Good, yeah, that's a good plan for sure. Definitely got to keep that routine, eh? Okay, great. So how about let's go around and just have everyone answer this question. Any advice for incoming students? And this is a 2-part question. So any advice, and then I'd also like to hear if there's anything specific like that you would say is the most essential item or attitude to bring to Seat of Wisdom. So let's go backwards now. Let's start with Paul. So what is your advice for incoming students, and then most essential item or attitude?
Advice for incoming students. Off the top of my head, I think come in with the attitude to learn, because I came into college and I was like, oh, college, I'm ready to learn, going to do all sorts of things, have a lot of fun. But I came in and it's a lot different than I thought it was. But the biggest thing is that if you sit down in your classes and you just like watch the professor and are ready to learn, like you're just going to soak everything in, and it's going to just change how you live your life. Honestly. So come in ready to learn, and that'll go a long way. In terms of most essential item, a winter coat, I would say, is the most essential item, because my residence, St. Paul's residence, is a good 10-minute walk from campus. You're like, oh, 10 minutes, that's not very far. Easy walk. Not when it's minus 25, which it does get to. So winter coat, definitely, I would say.
Good. Yeah, I definitely second that for sure. Absolutely. It's snowing right now. I can see it from my window. Good. All right, Elizabeth.
I'd have to say the advice I would give people coming in is to allow yourself to be humbled. I was definitely humbled a lot my first year in things that I thought I was confident in. And I really grew a lot. I learned a lot. And I realized I was a lot smarter in some areas than I thought I was. So allow yourself to be humbled, be open to that. An essential thing to bring, I was going to say a big winter coat. I'm from the Cayman Islands, so it doesn't snow there. It doesn't get nearly as cold as it gets here. So I guess good gloves, moisturize. It's key. Never had to moisturize in my life, but I had to when I came here. And I guess the attitude to bring is just go with the flow. Allow yourself to like enjoy living. There's so much that you could do here. So many people you can meet. Just go out of your way to talk to people, get to know them. And it's probably best advice I've ever taken is just going out there, talking. I like to talk, so it's great. I met a lot of great people who've truly changed my life. So I guess that would be the attitude to have. Go with the flow.
Good, thanks. Yeah, I forgot to mention one thing about the essential item. Yeah, if you could all make it a different item, that would be great. When I was thinking of this question, actually, I was thinking, oh yeah, someone's going to mention a winter coat, someone's going to mention gloves, and those are definitely essential items. But if someone already mentioned something, maybe vary it up a little bit and provide more than one thing that prospective students can bring. So no, thank you both. All right, Kevin, what's your advice as a first year?
My advice would be to apply, like this is practical advice, apply to the school, even if you're on the edge about going, because open up doors, you never know. I applied and I wasn't planning on going, and it was more of a last minute thing, but I had the opportunity to go because I had applied early. So apply. And then I don't really have an essential item, whatever you would bring if you're like leaving the house or you're, but for essential attitude, definitely like let yourself have fun and enjoy it, because you won't if you don't. I went to like a small Catholic private school, and there were years where I was like, I'm not having fun, I want to go. But the years where I like accepted I was there and like had a good attitude were the most fun years. So yeah, have a good attitude.
That's great, thanks. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, and definitely like just as the recruitment officer, I just want to say apply if you have any interest in coming, or just talk to us. We can help you through any decision making, and even if it's not the right fit for you, we want to help you find the right fit for you. So, and that could be just allowing those doors to be opened by applying and being accepted, and then working through the next steps following that. So wonderful, great. All right, Geneva, what's your advice?
So it definitely goes along with what all three, I guess, of you have said, but just kind of like an underlying openness. So like an openness to learning, openness to God, which is like manifested, like it is a humility, just kind of like an openness and like an attitude that's like looking for the gifts that God has to give. So because they're going to be there. And I think that's been really important for me, how this school has really helped me learn how to like see challenges or things that like might seem on the outside to be problems or like the worst things, actually can be the best things if you just like have the eyes to see it. Even just like that challenge of trying to find the good in something is a good in itself, like if you see the challenge as a good. So an openness to what God has to give, and to seeing hardships as a good. God can use it for good. So yeah, and then something to bring. Of course, I'm gonna say tea. You need
like it.
Where would you be without tea? Okay, that's it.
What's your favorite kind of tea, Geneva?
Oh, peppermint.
All right, good choice. Okay, Nicola.
All right, so I would say a piece of advice. I feel like everyone touched on like the really important advice, and then one thing I have to add is like, don't sacrifice your sleep too much, because everything is better when you get enough sleep. So yeah, and then an essential item would be like a nice thermos and like multiple water bottles. Just like stay hydrated. Yeah. And then a good attitude would be like just willingness to go out of your comfort zone, I think, because that's like when things really start to like happen and you start to learn is when you go out of your comfort zone. So
yeah, for sure. And there'll be lots of times where you might be stretched, you know, in different ways that you didn't think you could be stretched, but you know, it's just another part of growing and learning and becoming more of who God wants you to be, and discovering more about yourselves. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Nikki. All right, Noah.
Okay, so what I thought of immediately was it's kind of all been stolen so far. So kind of what closer to what Geneva was saying, you really have to just, okay, I would say like get realize what you're getting yourself into. Like it can be really tough at times, but also you really just have to embrace that, something I didn't really do as fully as I should have in first year. And the more you embrace it, the more free time you'll have to do fun things too. Also, okay, so for what to bring, I would say don't underestimate the power of sticky notes, plastic sticky notes. Stedman's, the convenience store, doesn't really have them, and it's annoyed me for years. So bring lots of plastic sticky notes. I think I've had to use Paul's in the past.
All right, bring sticky notes. That's great. Good to know. Wonderful. Okay, yeah, thanks for those answers. Those are all great. So I think I'll ask a couple more questions here. And I'm just going to choose the best ones. So, all right. So I want to ask a question this can be for anyone. It's kind of an anyone question, because I don't know, maybe not all of you know exactly how you would answer this question. So this is, I guess, more geared to the upper years or more like the third years here. But again, anyone can answer this if they want, if you have a sure answer or just something to offer. But I was wondering, because a lot of people ask, you know, what can I do with a degree here? Like, what can I do with my time here? How is this going to help me or for me? So just if you could give any points on your ambitions or your aspirations for after Seat of Wisdom. Doesn't have to be a career, you know, it could be more academics, could be a career, could be something like that. It could just be like a way of life. But if anyone has any aspirations or ambitions, and maybe have they changed since you started here? I'd like to hear a bit about that. Yes, Elizabeth.
So I'd like to continue on the educational path. I like to hopefully get a master's and one day a doctorate. And the way it's changed is I always thought I would go into English literature, but now I'm kind of open to philosophy as well, which is very surprising for me. But yeah, so I'd like to really continue doing that. And yeah, hopefully one day working at a school, if not also something like also. I think that would be my ideal, what I'd like to do.
Good for you. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yes, Noah.
Okay, so the school, I think like it really does train people to be kind of the next Catholic generation. And I think that that's really cemented for me being here is like, I want to represent young Catholics and what we believe.
There we go. Yeah, we're the new generation of young Catholics for sure. Kevin.
I just want to say I think a lot of people kind of assume that you can't do anything with a degree from ULSWA or schooling from ULSWA, but from my experience, like my two older sisters, Christina did 2 years at ULSWA and then transferred to Redeemer, and she finished last year. She's now a naturopath, so she did like 4 years at School of Naturopathy in Toronto and naturopathic medicine. And then my other sister, Julia, she finished her degree at ULSWA and is now in teachers college.
Mm.
So I don't know. I think a lot of times it's just like, what kind of, do you have a degree? Not like, what kind of degree do you have to get into programs? And so, yeah, I think it can be useful.
Yeah, thanks for that, Kevin. Yeah, for sure. It's, there's so many of our graduates have either gone on to further education or have transferred their academics here to another school and continued with master's and PhD programs or other academic programs. So it's definitely not holding you back from anything. If anything, it's just like Noah said, you're being formed to go out into the world and just be the next generation of young Catholics who are in all different fields, all different ways of life, different vocations, and just changing the world one step at a time. So that's great. Anyone else? Any ambitions? Have they changed at all? Geneva, yes.
Just one thing that I really love about liberal arts education is the fact that it's like it's a way of really living out the idea that life is more than a paycheck or life is more than a diploma. Like there's something so much deeper going on than just like, the outside, the superficial, like how materially successful someone is. There's a richness and sure, yeah, you can live that richness even, not doing a liberal arts education, but the liberal, like investing a year or 3 years of your life to that kind of an education, you're living it. You're like, yes, I know this is true. I'm living the truth of this reality, that life is more than just like what the world says is important. Because one of the reasons, one thing that I'll say, like when people ask me what I want to do after school is I'll say ministry, but that could mean anything that we do. This education, this formation, like it really instills an understanding that like whatever we do as a ministry. We're bringing the truth of God's love into whatever we do. So whether that means, like, I'd love to teach in some capacity, so I don't know exactly what that will look like, but yeah. And another thing, just like becoming more open to God's will. These years at school have just like really also fostered a deep understanding of like God's will bring the most joy ultimately. And I don't think there's anything more important than like having that knowledge, that healing truth. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Geneva. Yes. Anyone else? I think everyone has said something for this question, which is great, except for maybe a couple of you. So that's great. Thank you. Let's do one more question here. All right, here's a fun one. What is your favorite meal to cook? I'd really like to know this because we touched on what you had for breakfast this morning. And that was great to hear because it was all very different answers, which is great. But since we have no meal plan this year, just so our viewers know, we don't have a meal plan this year. So everyone is cooking for themselves and buying the groceries by themselves. And we have 2 grocery stores that are walking distance away in the town here. So everyone has the opportunity to just experiment with new meals or eat with their house and stuff like that, cook with each other. So I just like to hear what your favorite meals are to cook. So let's go with, let's start with Noah here.
I've been experimenting with eggs Benedict lately. Sometimes it's gone pretty badly, but I'm gonna keep improving, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the spirit. That's awesome. Wow, eggs Benedict. Wonderful. Okay, Nicola, what do you like to eat? What do you like to cook?
Sorry, my internet just connected for a sec. I really like making tacos. They're like pretty easy and they're super delicious. So yeah.
Yeah. Geneva.
I mean, granola. Let's see. Yeah, no. I probably should do more experimenting, just kind of do the same things. But I like chili.
Granola is great too.
I like chili. We're just like some beans and some ground beef, and it's a good time.
And chili's good for a nice winter, meal too, right? Just a nice cozy.
Yeah, and you can put whatever you have in it, pretty much. Okay, not whatever you have, but.
Great. All right. Kevin, what do you like to cook?
My classic go-to is just eggs and bacon and toast and sausages. Yeah, I make a pretty killer breakfast, but it's sometimes not even breakfast meal. And also sometimes the guys from my house and a few other guys from other houses will come over and we'll just make like a big pot of spaghetti, and that's a lot of fun.
Nice, wonderful. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, Elizabeth, what do you like to cook?
Everything and anything. I guess my favorite dish from last semester is probably my jerk chicken. That was fantastic. And then this semester, I don't know, chicken. I usually bake a full chicken and it lasts me the whole week. And then I like make soup out of it too. So you like boil it up and then you add like a bunch of other ingredients and it lasts you a good another week. So it's like, yeah, it's good.
Meal prepping, yeah, that's definitely key as a student, eh? I mean, it's something that we all have to learn, but just making it easier for our future selves. So that's great, wonderful. All right, Paul, what do you like to cook?
Yeah, I abide by the rule, keep it simple, stupid. My classic dinner for the weekdays is ground beef, some rice or noodles, and frozen veggies. And if you got like a sauce or like some like Tex-Mex flavor package or something like that, you throw it in there, spices things up, shake it up a little every once in a while. But yeah, keep it simple. Yeah.
Good motto for sure. Wonderful. Okay, well, we have one question from that someone submitted on Instagram. So I want to just touch on that too. And this person, so it's at theophilus.lulu, asks, how much quiet / downtime does a student have? And I think this is a great question that especially now that people are a lot more indoors and in their residences, and it may be harder to find that downtime. So yeah, maybe a few of you can touch on how much time do you have, or if you're noticing anyone in your house who is having a harder time or easier time, what's your advice for getting downtime? Yes, Elizabeth.
I've noticed that since especially last start of the semester we had lockdown, I had so much time. I still have a lot of time, a lot more time than I had last semester. And for the quiet times, it's usually pretty quiet during the day. It gets rowdy at night in my house. Energy only comes at night apparently. But yeah, I've noticed that it's been kind of good for a couple of people in our house because we're talking to each other a lot more and hanging out a lot more. But yeah, it's pretty decent.
Okay, good to know. Good. Noah.
I think it also depends on the residence you're in. Some houses are kind of built better for being able to go somewhere quiet. So you can always add that into your kind of your application what you're looking for.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, on your residence form, on your roommate questionnaire, you can indicate if you're if you would like more quiet space, or if you're more introverted, or if you just need a quiet roommate, something like that. And we're pretty pretty much doing our best to match people up to fit everyone's preferences. Now, it's not always possible, but we can do our best. There's enough residences where it usually works. So that's great. Yeah, thanks, Noah. Yes, Paul.
Yeah, I think in terms of downtime, it really depends on the kind of person you are and what house you're in. Because we've got a couple study halls in the school that are like silent. So you go in there and there's no talking and you can just, get down and study hard. But there's other study halls, like there's one out in our library. I guess they're both in our libraries, where there's like round tables, and then that's where people can sit around and talk to each other. But it depends what you're looking for in CETOism. Like if you're more academically inclined, you can work hard and get some downtime in your own room. But I know a lot of people who are extroverted like to get some relaxation time with other people. So that's great in St. Joe's, one of our St. Joseph's building, one of our buildings. We've got a pool table in the basement, so that's always a great place to get some relaxation in, and between study sessions, or maybe your study sessions go between your pool games, but whatever you want. I think it depends on what kind of person you are, but you can definitely make room in your own schedule, and you can definitely make space for quiet time and downtime.
Yeah, for sure. Good to know. Yeah. So if anyone's sitting there and just wondering, is this a good fit for me? It's okay. There's lots of different people who come to Seat of Wisdom and have, various different backgrounds and experiences, and are used to different things like lots of downtime, or different places to study, all that stuff, and different amounts of community. So, but we have a wide range of people here. So yeah. And Paul just said yes in the chat. Yes, adoration, definitely. We also have lots of opportunities for spiritual growth here, and just opportunities to be with our Lord in our church. Our main church in town, we actually have two Catholic churches in the town of Barry's Bay, St. Hedwig's and St. Lawrence O'Toole. St. Hedwig's is located right beside campus, which is a huge blessing to be able to go to daily mass. Daily mass is available every morning. Obviously, it's daily mass. There's confession available as well, and adoration most days. And we have a spiritual director or a chaplain on campus. So yeah, huge win. We're so blessed to have all these opportunities here. So yes, wonderful. So I just want to say to any viewers who might be watching, if you have a burning question right now, please submit it on YouTube live. We'd love to answer your question. Otherwise, this will be recorded, so you're welcome to just share around, tell your friends about this. If you have a friend, if you know someone who might be interested in learning more about Seat of Wisdom, or who is looking for a good Catholic college to attend, or just looking for what to do after high school, there's lots of different opportunities, and we'd love to just keep you in the conversation here. So if you have a question, yeah, feel free to put it in the chat right now. But before we just wind down here, I would like to say too that we're still doing online classes right now, and we're blessed to be in person again right now after a lockdown ended in Ontario. But we still are offering all our classes online to just have the opportunity there for people who might be feeling sick, or who can't attend in person at the moment. And we are going to continue that in the fall as well. So if there's any high school students who maybe you're in grade 10 or 11 and you just want to sample our courses, or audit a course or two in the fall, you're very welcome to reach out to us and start that process, because there are a lot of people who do that. Or even if you're a parent, you're very welcome to you can either audit or take a course with us online, since we have the opportunity. So I just want to put that out there. And just want to mention as well, I mentioned this before, but I just really want to stress that we want to help you find the best fit for your education and your formation as a Catholic and just as a human person. So, you know, even if you don't end up coming to Seat of Wisdom, we like to be in conversation with you and just help you through the process and help you apply and help you work through your discernment. So we're here for you. All right, and even for homeschool students, I just want to put that out there as well, because we have a lot of homeschool students who come and a lot of non-homeschool students who come too, but we are able to accept homeschool students. We welcome them. We welcome just anyone really who can show equivalency to what we're looking for in terms of academic ability. But yeah, it's just a great opportunity to be formed in the truth and the truth that will set us free. So I think right now I'm just going to ask everyone if there's any last minute things that you'd like to say to our viewers. There could be, you know, lots of different viewers, like students, siblings, parents, donors, anything like that. So is there anything that our current students right now would like to say to our viewers? Any last words? Paul.
Okay, this kind of ties in, but it's a bit of a jump back to advice. But the spiritual life that we have here is like fantastic. Like there's not many places in colleges that you're gonna find something better. And one of the things especially that you can do here is go to spiritual direction. Like we have chaplains. So I remember in my first year, like every time I'd walk to one of the study halls, Father Joseph Hattie, our old chaplain, would just be sitting in his office and his door would be open. And sometimes when you'd pass, you'd go by and say, "Oh, you know, still want to be a saint?" You'd be like, "Oh yeah, Father Hattie." But now we've got a new chaplain, Father Paul Burkett. But because we have the opportunity, on a piece of advice, I would say if you're going to come here, like take advantage of the spiritual direction that you can. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, wonderful. Noah, you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, so I guess a few of us are from pretty far away. I'm from BC, and then there's a couple international students here. And I would say distance is a big thing. It's hard to be away from home, but also I found that the community here is just so good that if you're worried about coming because of distance, like that you will have community here, I guess.
For sure. Yep. I know. Yeah, it's definitely a big step to take if you're, you know, coming right out of high school and you live far away. It's a big step to move across the country or the continent, but a lot of our students, just like Noah said, a lot of our students will tell you that it's worth it, and yeah, lifelong friendships are being made here. So it's a wonderful thing. Yes, Liz.
I just have to say be brave and be bold. Like, go for it. Apply. Venture outside of your comfort zone. It's well worth it.
Definitely. Thank you all for your advice. Wonderful. Well, if there's nothing else, let me just check if there's any comments here. Our live viewers. All right. No more. Okay, that's okay. Well, this is going to be recorded and put up on our YouTube channel right after this live event. So yeah, again, just share, and we'd love for you to stay in contact with us. Again, my email address is ejordan, so that's EJORDAN @seatofwisdom.ca. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'd love to book a virtual tour with you and talk more about the admissions process. You can also email the admissions office directly at admissions@seatofwisdom.ca, and we can help you out from there as well. If you have any questions for our academic dean at all, I know she's been a part of these events sometimes. If you have any questions for her, so that's for Dr. Natasha Duquette. Her email is nduquette@seatofwisdom.ca. So reach out to her if you have any questions about academics or that process as well. So Thank you to all our students here. So thank you to Noah, Nikki, Geneva, Kevin, Elizabeth, and Paul for being a part of the student panel. It's a great joy to have you here virtually, but thank you for being witnesses to the life that we live here at Seed of Wisdom. And we hope everyone has a lovely rest of your day. So I will end the live stream right now, but to all our viewers, thank you for joining, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.